This conference will now be recorded.
Everyone, we are going to call the meeting to order. I do have one addition. I circulated a letter to council earlier today with regard to a Red Cross request. And I would ask if council has any other additions this evening.
No additions.
Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda with the one addition.
So moved.
Do we have a seconder?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, the agenda is approved with the one addition. We also, we now have the appointment of a deputy mayor. So we do have a motion in the next screen. All right, so the motion for consideration is that the Town of Port Hawkesbury approves the appointment of Councillor Huey McDougall as our deputy mayor for the next 12 months.
So moved. Second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or question has been called? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion is approved. Congratulations, deputy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Fist bump. Okay, so we don't have any gallery presentations this evening, but we do have some acknowledgements, and I understand that we all have a couple of acknowledgements that we will share here this evening. So I'm going to ask our Deputy Mayor, Huey McDougall, to start out our acknowledgements.
Thank you, Your Worship. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that today, November 8th, is Indigenous Veterans Day. And I would also like to ask Council to stand for a moment of silence to acknowledge Remembrance Day, November 11th.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Your Worship, thank you. I have one more acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge a good friend of the Town of Port Hawkesbury and a good friend of Council's. You've probably seen her, a lot of his, on her mobile wheelchair going around town. Rilla McLean, who passed away the other day. I'd just like to acknowledge that. Thank you.
Over to you, Councilman Corey.
Thank you, Mayor. I had the real privilege of being involved with a group of community members throughout the summer. It came together. It was a group of close to 20. To do fundraising for immigrants coming to Nova Scotia to settle from Ukraine. And they came together with the name of Straight to Ukraine. And they took on a number of fundraising initiatives beginning in, I believe it was June, the first one they had here at the Civic Center. And they had a big function at the Port Hawkesbury Fire Hall the 1st of October. And they had sold tickets on a print that was put made by Bruce McKinnon. And all told, I think they were successful in raising about $28,000, which was really, really significant. So they did come together in May, and they had their last fundraising event there the 1st of October. And so they've been recognized for the work that they've done. And I'd just like to quickly read this note that I have. And this is from the YMCA of Greater Halifax, Dartmouth. Your group was nominated by Trina Sampson to receive this award, and the award is the YMCA Peace Medal in the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion category. Based on your incredible fundraising and volunteer efforts to help Ukrainians who are arriving and settling in Nova Scotia. You have gone above and beyond as members of the community. You have demonstrated what it looks like when like-minded community members from various diverse backgrounds come together with a vision to help displaced Ukrainians arriving in Nova Scotia. You have broken down financial barriers to get the necessities for them to start their lives in our province. You exemplified and exuded all peacemaking selection criteria. So the group is going to be presented with this medal in Halifax next Friday, the 18th, and I understand there's a number of the committee members that are going up to Halifax for that presentation. So anyway, I just want to applaud the committee for the great work.
I think it deserves a little round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Blaine. Over to you, Jason.
So I have two. The first one, I'd like to acknowledge the Port Hawkesbury Volunteer Fire Department. The great work they did a couple of weeks ago when our public works building caught on fire. Responded very quickly. It was amazing to see a group of volunteers leave their homes that quick to get out to protect property that we own. Fantastic job, great teamwork, and again, just a thank you to the Hawkesbury Volunteer Fire Department. And my second one is for you, Mayor. On November 3rd, Mayor Brenda took over as the president of the NSFM. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks. Councilor McIver.
Yes, Your Worship, through you, I would like to acknowledge and welcome the social service class from Nova Scotia Community College, Port Hawkesbury.
There they are. Welcome. We're really pleased to have you with us tonight. And I'll conclude acknowledgements. I just have a few acknowledgements. Oh, okay. So apparently it recorded what you shared, Blaine. It just kept going. Anyway, so November is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I wanted to acknowledge that. November 25th is also International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Women. This day launches 16 days of activism to December 10th, which is meant to challenge gender-based attitudes and behaviors and to influence the making and implementation of laws on a local, national, and global level. And lastly, I'd like to acknowledge the Quad County U13 AAA Whitecaps, who have made a successful bid to host the 2023 U13 Female AAA Atlantic Hockey. So that is going to take place in March of 2023. So congratulations on that successful bid. So that's great. All great acknowledgements. Thank you, everyone. So we're going to move on now to approval of council minutes. Agenda item number 7. So we have a public meeting of October 4th, 2022, and I would ask if there are any errors or omissions. Hearing none, I will ask if there are any errors or omissions for a special public meeting of October 18th, 2022. Okay, so agenda item number 8 is business arising from the minutes. At this time, does council want to discuss any of our business arising?
Maybe, Your Worship, if I could, I think maybe to have things done correctly and for the minutes and history, I think that we maybe, should we rescind, so in the future that we don't do this, rescind number 13? Because I think we discussed that later and figured we'd hold off on that.
Oh, 13 on our, okay.
The letter, because
Yeah, yes. That would have been the letter for, is that from our minutes from
October
our
4th.
special,
Public meeting, yeah.
October
Yes.
4th? Thank you.
I think I would move to rescind my motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion has been moved and seconded. And for to rescind a motion without any due notice, we would need 70, yeah. So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I guess, Councilman Corey, did you want to provide any preamble?
No, so, I just make a comment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, put forward a motion for council for the town to send correspondence to Deputy Premier McMaster and Minister Thompson to do what they could to support Dr. Attool's credentialing process, whatever impact that they may have. The council agreed with the motion, we put it forward. Since then, we did have an opportunity to have a meeting with Dr. Attool and myself and Your Worship and with Terry, and we were pleased to have Mike Callaway, our MP, join us by phone, because what kind of became apparent was the kind of a bigger issue and regarding Dr. Attool was around his status, his permanent residency status. And so Mike Callaway joined us and with a number of his senior staff. And fortunately, they've taken that up, and they're going to be, I'm sure they have, had contact with Dr. Attool since then. So that's where we've gone. That's the direction we've gone.
Perfect. So to Deputy Mayor McDougall's point, there's no longer a need for that letter because it's gone in a different direction.
We do support the
Oh,
whole
100%.
we do,
100%, just for the,
but we want to make sure we provide the appropriate support that's needed.
Yeah.
Great. Any other comments or questions, or if you're prepared to call the question?
question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded. Okay, just for the record, to note that it was a unanimous support for that rescinding of the motion, as is necessary for rescinding a motion without due notice. All right, anything else for business arising? Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. We will move on now to council committee reports. So the first item is report from committee of the whole, October 18th, 2022. Terry?
Yes, Your Worship. There's just one item coming out of Committee of Whole, and that's we asked for motion for consideration of the Town of Port Hawkesbury support the 2022 seniors Christmas dinner to be held in the Bearhead Room on Sunday, December 18th, 2022, and donate the use of the Bearhead Room and kitchen.
Thank you. What is the wishes of council?
I'd move that motion.
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded. The motion is approved. And we now will move on to approval of the Committee of the Whole minutes dated October 18th, 2022. I will need a motion to approve those minutes unless there are any errors or omissions.
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? You ready for the question?
Question.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded. The minutes are approved. And is there any business arising from the Committee of the Whole? Okay. We'll move on then to motions from in camera. Do we have any?
There are no motions from in camera, Your Worship.
Okay. We do not have any correspondence to report today or proclamations.
No, I think we're okay.
I think that's just,
Thank you.
Okay, so under other business, which is agenda item number 14.
No proclamation to it.
No. Okay, so the first item under other business is council expenses, and just to note that this is provided for information for citizens in the gallery with regard to the expenses that have incurred in that last council cycle. And these are also always posted on our website as well. The next item is for the, I guess we call it the FEIS 2022, FEIS. FEIS, thank you. So the FEIS 2022, and Aaron, this is something that council typically supports every year. So the request that's come forward is the use of the Bearhead Room to hold that event on behalf of the Port Hawkesbury Literacy Council. And they also are asking council to support in the purchase of a table. So what is the wishes of council with
I would
regard to
move,
that?
your worship.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, or if you're prepared, you can call the question? Question has been called. All those in favor, please
Aye.
signify by saying aye. Contrary minded? Okay, the motion is approved. The next item is the Evergreen Letter of Support. So this is a motion that needs a simple ratification as the letter of support has already been sent. So do we have a motion for that? Or you can just,
Yeah, no, so I wasn't aware that the letters, but maybe on this.
oh, was that the Evergreen Club for their generator?
Yeah, so this is the, yeah, so.
Oh, okay, maybe it hasn't been sent yet. Apologies.
So the Evergreen Club wished to apply to province of Nova Scotia for funding to support the installation of a generator in the Evergreen Club. And the Evergreen Club is actually a designated comfort center space within our Emergency Measures Act, Emergency Measures Plan, Management Plan. And so they're looking for a letter of support for that, to move that application for that grant for
Apologies, I thought that the deadline had already passed.
No.
Sorry about that.
17th.
We're still perfect.
Motion moved.
I would second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or you have a question? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Contrary minded? Okay, it is approved. Okay, so MAD campaign, over to you, Terry.
Yes, your worship. So the MAD Inverness South is looking for flag raising opportunity. So MAD Inverness South is reaching out regarding a powerful campaign to bring awareness to the dangers of impaired driving with Project Red Ribbon, which starts on November 1st and runs through the holiday season. So MAD would like to raise their flag. They had asked for November 1st, but that's passed. The request was received on the 30th. So it's just the way that's worked. So they're quite happy if we pick a day within November to raise the flag and recognize this very valuable program that volunteers are putting forward.
Fantastic. What is the
Motion moved.
wishes of council? So it's been moved by Councillor Coyne. Do we have a seconder?
Second the motion.
Okay, it's been seconded. All those in favor?
So, on the question,
Sure, on the question, go ahead.
I'm just wondering if there's any date specific to get there that we could put it in the public there.
Yeah, so we will, we don't have a date picked yet, but so we're going back and forth, and we'll check with council on availabiliability
Perfect.
and for that flag raising event. So we knew that the requested date was not available, so we have to pick a date that's where council is
Thank
available.
you.
Any other questions on the motion? Okay.
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? The request is approved for the flag raising. The next item is a municipal boundary review.
Yes, your worship. So I am joined by our solicitor, Patrick Laney. Just going through the municipal boundary review. Yeah, so just a reminder, every 8 years since 2006, council of every municipality and town in the province must study the number and boundaries of its polling districts, their fairness and reasonableness, and the number of councillors. After it completes the study and before the end of the year, council must apply to the Nova Scotia Utility Review Board to confirm or change the number and boundaries of the polling districts. For towns that elect councillors at large, an application must be filed with the board to confirm or change. So we're a town, and that is what we're considering, is to confirm or change the number of councillors. Some consideration: population, geographic size. Fewer than 4 may cause problems in achieving a quorum. Having 4 councillors makes the town more representative of the community, and it would be difficult to carry out local advisory, regional, and provincial committee obligations with less than 4. This is just a slide we put together just to show what other municipalities are doing. The smallest municipality in the province of Nova Scotia is Annapolis Royal, smallest town, and I believe rural as well. There's 530 people in it. It has 4. It seems like the minimum number is really 4 to be able to carry out the work of council. Yeah, so just the schedule. So on September 20th, 2022, Town Council approved the motion, moved by Councillor McDougall, moved by Councillor McIver, and seconded by Councillor Hugh McDougall, that the Town of Port Hawkesbury accept the recommendation of CAO to hold public consultation session on UARB application to confirm or alter the number of councillors. The motion was carried. The public hearing and hearing was advertised for October 5th and 12th. It was advertised, through local papers and social media on the 5th and the 12th. On October 25th, we held a public meeting. November 8th, which is today, we're considering the options to confirm or amend. By the 31st of December, we have to apply to the Nova Scotia Utility Review Board to either confirm or amend the number of councillors. There will be a UARB hearing that will be announced, and a URB decision to accept or reject the town's recommendation application. Public hearing was held in Shannon Studio on August 25th, 7 p.m. The hearing was chaired by the CEO, Terry Doyle, and the town solicitor, Patrick Levy. One member of the public was in attendance. There was no presentations in favor or opposed, and there are no written submissions. So we would ask on the recommendation of our solicitor and the CAO that the council consider the following motion. After public consultation and due consideration, that the council of the Town of Port Hawkesbury makes application to the Nova Scotia Utility Review Board to confirm the number of councillors at 4. The application shall be prepared pursuant to section 368 or 369 of the Municipal Government Act for use by towns which do not have polling districts.
What is the wishes of council?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? The motion is approved. Our next item is provincial amendment to the marketing levy, and there was correspondence that was provided in your agenda packages from Terry Smith, the CEO of Destination Cape Breton Association, and the motion for consideration is that the Town of Port Hawkesbury support the proposed amendments to the Cape Breton Island Marketing Levy Act outlined by Destination Cape Breton.
I will move that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion?
Question.
The question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion is approved.
I'm just wondering, Your Worship, if an explanation for that last motion
Sure.
should take place to the gallery, because it's
Absolutely,
interesting.
100%. So if we go back to the last slide. So there was a presentation from Terry Smith, who is the CEO of Destination Cape Breton Association, which basically is a group that promotes and helps to market Cape Breton Island to the rest of the world. The marketing levy is a kind of like a little bit of, I guess a tax, if you will, that is charged. It's a small percent currently that's charged on room rentals, and then that is collected by municipalities and remitted to Destination Cape Breton to help promote our island to the world, grow, increase tourism numbers, all of that great stuff. However, because there isn't really a streamlined process in place that says, all of those levies should be the same. So it varies according to the different regions across the province. So kind of to create that consistency for the tourists that are coming, there was a proposal made by Terry Smith to our council, as he has to other councils, that it would be great if we place our levy at a 3% and have that consistent throughout the entire island of Cape Breton. Currently, we do not have that enabling the ability to make that change, but luckily the province of Nova Scotia has kind of put forward legislation currently that creates the enabling legislation that municipalities need to make a change to the levy that we choose for our region, and also allows us the ability to remove a threshold that currently exists. So accommodations that have 10 or less rooms for rent do not have to collect that levy, but that enables municipalities to kind of remove that threshold so that even Airbnbs and any sized accommodations will have to collect and then remit that 3% levy. And that will create a better, more enabling environment for Destination Cape Breton to help market, and will create some consistency for our tourists that come to the island.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And next is our committee assignments. Okay. Did you want me to go through these, or?
No.
Okay, let's go to the motion. Just for the benefit of our gallery. So we have a 4-year term as a council, and we have several local committees and several regional committees that each of us take turns serving on. So we are in the middle of our term, so we took a moment to kind of determine what committees that we will be staying on and what committees that we will be kind of reassigning. So we went through an exercise last night. It's like a lot longer time ago, but we went through the exercise of looking at different committee reassignments, and these are the committee assignments that we came up with as council. You had a question?
I'm going to make a motion. Your worship.
Oh, sure. I think there is a motion.
No, there's a motion probably to approve it, but I'm going to make another motion before.
What is that?
So I'd like to make a motion, your worship, that we amend the membership of the Port Hawkesbury Development Committee and increase the elected members from 1 to 2 members, with also including the third member being the alternate. So I would like to, the motion is to increase the membership of the Development Committee by 1 elected member to 2.
That's the one we combined housing
Yep.
and economic development.
Yep.
I'd second that. Thank you, Your Worship. I
Okay.
think that's a big,
It's a big file.
that's a big pile.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor currently. Is there any discussion?
And if you don't mind, your worship, just in terms of the discussion, just make a comment. So it's great what we've done and what the committee has done, which included yourself, Deputy Mayor McDougall and Councillor McIver, to try to streamline our committee structure. There are a lot of committees, and what we're seeing right now is just our local committees, and we have, in addition to that, we're dealing with regional committees. And just trying to make the workload fair and equitable for everyone. The reason I'm bringing this up is because, as you said, this committee now, the Development Committee, is a merger or amalgamation
Yes.
of the 2 previous committees, being the Housing Committee and the Economic Development Committee. Both of those committees had 2 elected members and an alternate. So there were 4 elected members and 2 alternates between the 2 committees. So this new committee is taking on the work of those two committees, and I think it's appropriate and equitable, or more equitable, to have another member of council assist with that committee's work. So that's the reason for me putting forward the motion.
Okay, so we currently have yourself with Councillor McDougall as the alternate. Councillor McDougall, would you be willing to serve on that committee in the same capacity as Councillor McCoy? And we can.
He's the chair, right?
Correct.
I'll just be the member, yeah, I'll do that, your worship.
Okay, so we would need an alternate to serve now on that committee so that we could. But we do have a motion that we have to ratify first.
Yeah.
Very
Question?
good.
Question?
Okay, question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, so now, before we move on though, we will have to designate a alternate.
Apparently.
Yeah, okay. I guess already.
So I have to look at this side of the table. We already have two serving.
I nominate- I'll
Second, second.
Okay, Mark, do you accept the nomination just to be alternate?
I will accept.
Okay, thank you so much. So we do have to ratify that motion. So we did have a first and a seconder. If you're prepared, you can call the question.
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary minded. Okay, so we have approved an alternate for the Port Hawkesbury Development Committee. Now that we have amended the committee assignments, I would ask the council consider that the Town of Port Hawkesbury approve the local and regional committee appointments as presented with the one amendment.
I would approve as amended, your worship.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion?
Question?
On the question, your worship,
Sure.
through you, for our local committees.
Correct.
I know that Mr. Doyle is advertising, I believe, after tonight. And with December coming and Christmas, that we not have any local committee meetings until January. It gives staff time to have the meeting,
Pass the
have
net.
them formed, and gives us time to get ready for Christmas. So,
So are you suggesting that we cancel any that are already scheduled?
no, that's all committees, if they're scheduled. This is new committees.
Okay, so for that, I guess it would be the new local
Well,
committees?
I guess through your worship, my understanding is all committees are open now. They're all
Oh,
advertised.
yes.
So it'll take staff time to organize that.
That could be something that might be an appropriate amendment to the next motion, which would be the committee recommendations. So if we make that an added recommendation.
Regional, we can't control that.
No, that's correct. But the next motion is for a regional committee, structural changes and recommendations. Okay, any other discussion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded. Motion is approved. So the second is the committee report recommendations that our special committee got together to provide. And as Councillor McIver has indicated, the new local committees should likely have a start in the new year to allow for new members to be identified and brought up to speed with regard to the workload of those new local committees. Okay, so did you want to make that just an amended part of the recommendations?
I would.
You would need a seconder.
Second.
Okay, so we have the amendment, I guess, or in addition to the current recommendations for consideration of council. So we have to vote first on the addition. Any discussion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary minded. Okay, now to the main motion, which for consideration is that the Town of Port Hawkesbury will adopt the committee report recommendations as presented by Mayor Chisholm Beaton, Councilor McIver, and Deputy Mayor McDougall.
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Contrary minded? Okay, the motion is approved. So we do have one addition this evening, and that is a request coming from the Red Cross with regard to the use of the arts and crafts room. What is, I guess if there's any discussion, we can have that now, or if you're prepared to make a motion to support that request.
I'll move to support it, Your Worship.
Do we have a seconder?
Second.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder. Any discussion?
Question.
Question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? The motion is approved for that support. So we have some future meetings. Our next committee of the whole is Tuesday, November 15th, followed by our public meeting, which is December 13th. And I think that we also discussed at the time on the December 13th combining. Yeah, so we'll have a public meeting with committee of the whole and forgo the committee of the whole. We'll just combine the two for that December 13th date. The council is okay with that.
This December's committee of the whole meeting that was later in that month.
Right, so our council meeting is happening a week later than normal and
Okay.
a week earlier than normal for committee of the whole. We'll combine those two meetings.
Okay.
Seeing as it's busy around Christmas time.
Yeah, no, still here.
And we still get all the work done. Okay, if everyone's good with those dates?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll now move on to our public question period. And we do have a little bit of rules of engagement with regard to the public question period. We welcome questions from the gallery. They need to be related to the agenda of business that we are dealing with currently. Speakers can identify themselves to mayor and council, and questions will be directed to myself as mayor and the chair of our council. Next slide. Okay, and persons wishing to ask questions. Yeah, so I mean, these are usually normally the rules of engagement that we have. And it's an opportunity for our gallery to get up and ask a question about any of our agenda items. So if any members of our gallery online or any members of our gallery in person, feel free to come up, identify yourself and ask a question. Don't be shy. Yeah, absolutely. Come on up. We're really excited. We actually have a question. Woohoo!
Very earlier about immigration for people.
Sure, you identify yourself.
My name's Adam McCaskill,
Okay.
and I'm just wondering what that process looks like for giving them housing and like financial aid.
Oh, the straight to Ukraine?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, and I'm going to direct the question through the chair to Councilor Corey.
So there are a number of communities in the province that took on this task as well. And for our group here, those monies were directed to the YMCA Greater Halifax, and they're the ones that are administering the funds for the immigrants coming to Nova Scotia. Am I able to provide more detail? Unfortunately, I can't, but that's, so it wasn't done locally in terms of dispersing the funds other than passing the monies along to the YMCA Greater Halifax.
Thanks for your question,
Thank
Adam.
you for your
Do you have any follow-up questions?
No, that's it.
Come on. Anybody else have any questions?
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for coming as well. It's like so amazing to have members in our gallery after so long with COVID, looking at each other through screens. So if there is no other questions from our online participants or our gallery, going once, going twice, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
That's so fast, guys.
As you can tell, they're really excited to draw this out a little longer.